Testing 1, 2. Okay. Okay. Good morning, everyone. We want to thank you all for coming out for this program this morning. I do want to apologize. We wanted to start promptly at 10, but we were at the UL baseball field talking to the UL baseball team. So for that, we're a little behind, but we will catch up. Again, thank you all for coming out this morning, particularly the young people. You're going to see that we have a real good lineup for you guys this morning and early this afternoon where you can mingle with. And so take it in. All right, take it in. And so with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Kenneth Boudreau, and we'll get the program started.
Thank you, Walter. Thank you so much. Again, we want to thank everybody for coming out. We're going to try to catch up on some time and get this thing moving right along. We have some amazing panelists, some amazing professionals who's going to present to you and just really inject some great information into you. So let's get this thing going. What we're going to do, we're going to just go from left to right. They're going to introduce themselves before we get into a discussion and we start throwing some questions out. And then we're going to also have some audience participation. We want to hear your questions so that they could address your issues as well. But we're going to start here to my near right on this left side here. If you could, ladies, gentlemen, just introduce yourself. What are you doing today? A little bit about who you are in about 60 seconds or less. Thank you so much.
Hello. Hi, everybody. My name is Timmy Chasson. I'm the former school board member at this school. I'm also the current state representative and a Northside High School graduate.
Good morning. My name is Shane Newman. I'm from New Iberia, Louisiana. Former Major League pitcher, also pitched in Korea as well. I'm the current pitching coach at Texas Southern University.
Good morning. I'm Sam Tolley. I was the baseball coach at Lafayette High for 38 years. This will be my 50th year of coaching. I've been a volunteer assistant for the last 2 years, and I got to coach against Shane. And my claim to fame is I coached Trev Falk in freshman football.
Hi, good morning. My name is Ron Washington. I'm the president and manager of the Los Angeles Angels. I managed the Texas Rangers for 9 years. I went back-to-back World Series in 10 and 11. I've been to 4 World Series, won 1, and I'm so happy to be here and hope that there be some things that I can say that can help you move forward in your career, whichever that is you want to endeavor.
Good morning. I'm Danny Ardoin, originally from Ville Platte, Louisiana. I live in Lake Charles. I'm a former Major League catcher, played 14 years of professional ball with 5 seasons in the big leagues. Was very blessed to be mentored by Coach Washington and Dave Stewart. Currently, I'm finished with baseball. I'm out of that, and I am in the healthcare industry and a leader in sales and marketing for a number of companies.
Hi, I'm Dave Stewart. Played at the major league level for 16 years, 3 World Series championships. After my playing career, served as a Major League Baseball executive, even at the top position as a general manager. And I did that for 8 years. I'm currently pursuing Major League franchise ownership. And that's my story. Thanks for having me here today. Looking forward to talking to you. Hopefully I can, shed some light on anything that you may be thinking. But it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you. Yeah, I think that's the close side.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Cherie Sam. I grew up in a small town called Doosan, right outside of Lafayette. Attended Acadiana High School. I played professional basketball for 16 years. Played 10 years in the WNBA. I have 2 championships there. I have several championships playing overseas. Basketball has just been the love of my life, the passion of my life. I'm now working with the Portland Trail Blazers front office as the scouting manager. Really excited to be here today. I have my nephews all here, so that's exciting too. So I tell you like I tell them, just open your mind today, listen and learn and grow.
Wow, I'm honored to be here. in this panel. My name is Glenn Cicchini. I grew up in Camarillo, California. I'm not a former professional player. My son played for the Red Sox. My other son played for the Mets. I'm a high school baseball coach. I've done it for 39 years. I love what I do. And my advice to you is Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Jesus Christ who strengthens me. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Julie Wilkerson, and I am happy to be surrounded by these wonderful athletes and leaders. And I am two-time national champion with the Lady Textures, Louisiana Tech Lady Textures basketball, women's basketball. I wear my 2 rings. Dave has 3. I wear my 2. But my current claim to fame is Kim Mulkey was my teammate. She was a year behind me. I did coach AAU travel ball for about 12 years, rec ball in my community in Tioga, where I went to high school, coached at my high school as a CECP, and we went to the Sweet 16, coached at Menard Junior High. So 25 years, when the game pays for your education, you give back to the game, you give back to the community, whether it's here or in Lafayette. And y'all, I have had a great time, but it's wonderful to see the community come together. Lafayette's a big city, but I'm telling you, you wouldn't believe it with the way the community has come together and treated us. And Northside High School, principal, coaches, staff, whatever y'all are doing it, keep doing it, because I was very impressed with your young people yesterday, and I know I'll be today and tonight, so keep doing it. Currently, I'm for 24 years, I've been the tribal attorney for the Gina Band of Choctaw Indians, a federally recognized tribe, and I have Chitimacha down your Chitimacha tribe down the street. Those are my friends, so thank you for having us.
Good morning, I'm Hollis Conway, proud graduate of the University of Southwestern Louisiana, now the University of Louisiana Lafayette. I am a 2-time Olympic medalist in the high jump. I jumped almost 2 feet over my head, 7 feet, 10.5 inches. 3-time NCAA champion, 6-time All-American, 10-time USA champion, and I still hold the collegiate indoor and outdoor record I set in 1989 and the American indoor record I set in 1991.
Good day to everyone. I'm so honored to be here today, to be in front of all these great men and women that done broke a lot of barriers. And my name is Shannon Clavel. I'm from Jeanerette, Louisiana. I was born in Lafayette. I grew up in New Orleans. I attended high school at Old Perry Walker High School. So I used to be in your position at one time. And I used to listen to men and women such as these honored people up here with me. So I played for I got drafted to Buffalo Bills, 1995. Got traded to Green Bay Packers. Went to 2 Super Bowls. We won one in 1997, Super Bowl 31 in New Orleans. Had a great opportunity there. Now I am a community pillar, and I love giving back to the youth, just hanging out with you guys. Yesterday was an exciting time, and so hopefully today you guys can open up, listen, and get these principles and these challenges that we had to overcome. We want to see you guys succeed also, okay? So I attended the University of Colorado. Go Buffs.
Hi, good morning. I'm Judge Valerie Gotch Garrett.
Hi, this is Dusty Baker.
Huh?
Go.
Oh. I'm Judge Valerie Gotch Garrett, and I'm happy to be here. Actually, I'm very humbled to be here. I'm not an athlete. I'm not an athletic coach. I'm a mother of 4 boys who were athletes, but I get the awesome opportunity to be able to take people who make bad choices in life in the criminal justice system, particularly in our drug court, and with the substance abuse, mental health disorders, and even some of our vets, and coach them and navigate them through life so that they can reclaim their position in life and they can be very valuable members of society. I also work with the local youth here in the community, and I think it's very important for us all to give you the support you need to help you resolve conflicts, to understand that your life matters to us and that all these people are here for you. So thank you for having me today.
Good morning. My name is Johnny Hector. Actually, I was born in Lafayette, grew up in New Iberia, Louisiana. Of course, I reside presently in Lafayette. I'm a former member of the NFL, played 10 years as a running back for the New York Jets. I attended Texas A&M University. I was also involved in real estate. I worked as a mortgage broker. Also worked for the DA's office, diversion program, dealing with youth. That's my kind of my passion, whatever. But and I'm so honored and glad to be here because at the end of the day, I was just like a lot of these young men and women, people in here, and just needed a little push, a little guidance, and what about life or whatever. And don't make the mistakes, and you don't have to fall for just the pitfalls that come with growing up. We all know about it, and like we had this conversation earlier, even adults make mistakes sometimes, but it just depends on, Anyway, I'm not supposed to talk so long, but so I'm gonna give it up.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Randy White, born and raised in Shreveport, Louisiana. Played ball at Louisiana Tech. Was drafted by the Dallas Mavericks in 1989 with the 8th pick in the draft. Spent 5 years in Dallas, 7 years in Europe. Was able to win some championships in Europe. Didn't go so well in Dallas, but that's here nor there. But again, just honored to be here. The opportunity to give back to young people is always a good thing for me, because at some point in time in your life, I was speaking to some young people yesterday, you're gonna have obstacles. You're gonna have challenges. You can't go through life without them, but it's not how and what happens to you, it's how you respond. And that's kind of what we're here to do today, is kind of help you overcome and avoid some of the obstacles and some of the challenges that we had to overcome. So again, thank y'all for having me. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here with all these great people. And
I'd like to thank everybody for know how you feel about.
You good?
Oh, okay.
Got a couple of things going on. We multitasking over here, technology and all that stuff.
But yeah, just in closing, just want to say, hey, thank you guys for having me, and hopefully you guys can get something from this and move forward in life. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Randy. Y'all, let's give our panel a hand. Thank you so much. What you heard in the background is a message from Dusty Bake, who has a message for the students as well as for our banquet tonight. If that comes up properly, we will go there. But in the meantime, we're going to stick with the panel. If you look around this gym, I went to Northside High School, and you could actually see my name on a couple of boards of some district titles, some state championships. The only undefeated team in the history of Northside High School. You see number 82, two-way starter back then. But to the panel, Dave, if you could, I want to start with you. At some point, we all aspire to be a professional something. A lot of us want to be professional athletes. I see the football players, the baseball players, the basketball players here. Everybody isn't going to make it. But in order to make it, you're going to need some things. Dave, if you could, let's start with you. What are some of the things that we could share with our children that they need to be ready to sacrifice, the things that they need to be prepared to do if, in fact, they want to get to that level?
Hello, there we go. Yeah, that's pretty. It's an easy answer for my period of time in my youth. In my youth, I played all three sports. I three-sport athlete. I played football, baseball, and basketball. Believe it or not, I had 30 football scholarships, 10 basketball scholarships, no baseball scholarships, and I ended up playing baseball. But for me, if it was baseball season, I played baseball. I mean, my parents eventually ended up being raised by my mother and my sisters and grandmother. But we had a when the street lights come on, curfew. So when the street lights came on, we had to be home. Somehow I kept missing that. And the punishment, as you know, for missing the street lights in our time was fatal. But I played sports. That's all I did. I played baseball when it was basketball season. I played basketball. When it was baseball, I played baseball. I watched baseball. I watched football. I watched basketball. I was a sports junkie. I didn't spend a lot of time watching TV. Back then, we had Nintendo, but it wasn't the same as PlayStation, not even close to that. But I was a sports junkie. I remember when one of my close friends, who I still have as a close friend, his name is Warnell Simpson. I've known him since I was 3 years old. When we were in our first year of junior high school, 7th grade, he asked me, he says, Stu, what are you going to do when you grow up? And I told him, I'm going to play some type of sports professionally. I'm going to be a professional something. And my train of thought was two things. One, I'm from a family of 8. Later on in life, we became single-parented. And so my family believed in academics. And so my way to get to college was through sports. So for me to get, academically be eligible to be in college, I studied, but I played sports. I watched sports. I was fortunate when I was younger in baseball. I had an opportunity to meet Willie Mays early in my life. And then I had an opportunity to meet Reggie Jackson later on in my life. And Clem Daniels, who was a running back for the Raiders. And so I had athletes around me that were influencing me. But my goal was always, I'm going to be a professional something. I'm probably not going to make it out of high school, so I'm going to have to make it through college. So I'm going to study, I'm going to work hard, play hard, be inclined in every way that sports is going to lead my life.
Is that, Dave, so can we say commitment?
That was a commitment.
It's commitment.
I was committed to academics, and I was committed to sports.
Yeah. Let me go to Cherie right quick, right next to you. I want to try to just get a little balance going. Cherie, does the same apply to the woman, to the lady, to the female? Is it the same needs that exist, the same commitment that Dave speak about, or is there something else?
I think individually, yes, a lot of the same similarities. I grew up in a small town as well, and sun up on Saturdays, I had my basketball and was going find someone that wanted to play pickup, or I was dribbling the ball down the street, Deuce 5 Street. So I was always with the basketball. So that's the same, but I guess for women, like, there weren't any professional leagues, so I didn't have that dream to be professional. To me, I knew I wanted to play basketball, and so I focused on that. I also was a multi-sport athlete, so the dedication, for sure, you have to be dedicated, and you have to be disciplined. You guys know what discipline means, right? You all sports, so right? You got to make wise choices. So you can go out and party with your friends and do that, or you could stay home and study and work on your craft, your sport. So I chose the latter. So it's a life of choices. Make the right choices, and then be dedicated and committed to your craft. Looking back, 3 things I always tell kids when I go and speak is, 1, you have to be dedicated. You got to have commitment. 2, you gotta dream big. I'm from a small town. I mean, I've been to over 36 countries with basketball, so you gotta dream big. Don't let anyone cast doubt, like the haters. Just focus and dream big. And then I think the last thing for me is be better each day. Every day you work up, you have a chance to be better. And it doesn't have to be big goal. Sorry, Dave, I almost threw a left there. It doesn't have to be a big goal. It could be little goals. Today I'm going to go to practice and I'm going to be positive and give all my teammates high fives. So just think outside the box each day. Try to make yourself better in whatever you want to do. And of course, education. My nephews know I'm always giving books. That's the worst gift they want. But open your mind, learn, and educate yourselves. So.
And again, members, don't hesitate to jump in. If you have something you want to offer on any one of these topics, please do so. I want to get the manager of all-time managers, Ron Washington, involved. Tell me about work ethic. Young folks are talented. I mean, they jump up out of bed. They don't, step out of bed. They just got so many skills. They got access to so much today. But what about work ethic?
Work ethic is paramount. You have to have work ethic, because when you develop work ethic, it all becomes what I do, and it's not anything that you ever have to think about. The harder you work, the better you are gonna be. You know, you got guys that work hard, and then soon as times get hard, they're not so hard at what they're trying to accomplish. Hard workers, that's all they know how to do. So all I can say to you is bring your best every single day, and some days are better than others. And your best, you may not think is good enough, but if in your heart you know that you gave your best, it's good enough. And you just have to try to do better the next day. Keep putting one foot in front of the other, and never take that foot and bring it back. So I was told this morning, talking to someone, they was talking about the mirrors that are inside the cars and outside the cars. You don't want to be looking in that rearview mirror. You want to stay ahead. You want to take all the challenges that come. Failure is education. Don't think because you tried to do something and you didn't accomplish it that you failed. No, it's education. Now you learn something. And the more you can learn and the more you can apply it, the better your life going to be moving forward.
Absolutely. Hollis, how a man from Shreveport jump higher than anybody else in the world, 2 feet above your own head? You don't just get up and jump, right? Tell them what it's going to take to be the best in the world.
So for me, I think the first thing is you have to discover your purpose. I think God put something inside of all of us, whether it's athletic, whether it's a lawyer, or whether it's a judge. You'll never be successful doing something you weren't born to do. And so I went out for football, didn't make it. I went out for basketball, didn't make it. I almost made it in basketball. And I went out for track, and I tried every event, and I literally ended up high jumping. And once I figured out that that's what I could do, and I really wanted to be successful, I grew up with nothing. I grew up in conditions that were not conducive to success. Any metric you want to, I grew up in. So I wanted something different. So I identified what was inside of me, and I went to work. And I was not very good. The first time I did the high jump, I jumped over the bar, I missed the mat, hit the ground, and knocked the wind out of myself. And I was just a JV jumper my sophomore year. And then my junior year, I was #1 in the state. And so you have to identify your gift, and then you have to work extremely, extremely hard. I always say successful people do successful things, and unsuccessful people do unsuccessful things. Don't talk about being successful while you're doing unsuccessful things. Do what successful people do, and ultimately you'll find success.
Can I dovetail on?
Absolutely. Please, Judge Garrett, please do.
And it's wonderful to have the talent, but young people live in a microwave society. Everything you want it quickly. It does not happen quickly. As all of them talk, it requires fortitude, it requires commitment, it requires to see it down the road, to visualize it, and then to go get it. The microwave society you live in does not exist in this athletic world. It does not exist in the world that you live in conflict resolution. You have to focus on what you want to accomplish, but be open-minded to hear the adults that are speaking positive into your life. You have a tendency to carve those adults out because you believe they don't understand. If you listen carefully to these adults, you will understand that even though they don't live in your today, in your microwave today, they lived in the yesterdays of the struggles of their season and their time. Your struggles are going to be no different than their struggles in their yesterdays. And so if you look at the differences between their struggles of yesterday, as Hollis just said, he was not born to do it in the conducive environments. He sought to do it in those conducive environments. So he dreamed to do it, and he kept going because, as one of the other coaches said, God had a purpose and a plan for him. He just couldn't figure it out unless he had the fortitude to keep going and to keep trying. You all give up too quickly. You can't be microwave in today's world.
Yeah. I want to go to Coach Sam and Coach Glenn. I would like both of you all to address this. Being coachable. We done heard all the greatness, right? We see the greatness, we see the talent, we see the skill set. But what can we tell these young people about how important it is to still be able to receive instruction, to be coachable, to be disciplined, to understand, to get to that next level, regardless of how big, strong, or fast you may be? Coach?
Glenn and I have been coaching against each other for a very long time, and he's had some outstanding teams. We've had some great teams, but I think the best teams we've had are the teams that have chemistry. The kids actually care about each other. You can't have 25 guys pulling in 25 different directions. And I was fortunate enough to coach a national championship AAU team. That group of kids from Baton Rouge and one kid from Lafayette, who was my son, they bonded, and they played in the 64-team tournament and won the whole thing. And they were not the most talented team. Matter of fact, they beat Beckett in the semifinal game. But those kids got together, had a great time that summer, and they became friends, and they're still friends today. And as a coach, I think Coach Robichaux from UL, sorry, I went to USL. He had, number one, he told his kids he wanted them to be great citizens. When they graduated, they were going to go out in the community and be active and be good people. They were going to be good husbands and be good family men. And the third thing he told them is, I'm going to make you good baseball players. And if you've got your priorities straight, like he did, then you're going to be successful, whether it's in athletics or in your life. And that's the most important thing.
Wow, I could talk about this forever. Culture. So my new favorite coach is Marcus Freeman from Notre Dame. And I'll tell you why. He talks about embracing hard every day. It's hard to be great. It's hard to do what Dave Stewart did or what Hollis Conway or any of these other people have done up here. To be great, there's a price to pay. And I think there's so many words, progress. We talk about getting 2% better every day. Take Sundays off. At the end of the month, you're 50% better. Small improvements over time. But culture is so important. Be a great teammate. Think less of yourself, okay? Don't think less of yourself. Think of yourself less. Be happy for other people's success. Culture is everything. And when you embrace hard. Life's not always fair. But be a great teammate. Form relationships. That's why I'm up here right now, here with these guys. These guys are all great professional players. I wasn't. I'm a successful high school coach. We've won 12 state championships. The players have won it. They've made me look good. But I'm here right now because of relationships. Walter Guillory, he and I were teammates and roommates. We've stayed close. His time of need, I was there for him. He stayed with my wife and I for 2 years. But you can't forget that. Life is all about relationships. And that's what we have at Barb. It's not about the color of your skin. It's not about how much money you have. That's the beautiful thing about sports. Unite over divide. Love everyone. 1 Corinthians 13:13 talks about hope, faith, and love will prevail forever. The greatest of these is love. If you love people, unite over divide, be the change you want to see in the world. When the players realize you love them and you care about them and their futures, it's amazing what they'll do for you. But that's the secret. People want to know, what's the secret, Barb? How are you guys so good every year? Ron Washington asked me that. Hey, man, we're the melting pot. That's what we are at Barb. We want the best players, and we want to teach them to be champions in life, okay? And that's the key. And Ron Washington touched on this, is when you fail, it's just an opportunity to find a better way to get the job done. It's not failure, all right? So it's going to be a grind. Embrace the grind. It's fun, the journey. That's what makes it so fun. You know, if you knew who was going to win every year, I mean, you're going to win 20-0. That's not really competition. Competition is laying it all on the line, giving everything you got. Yeah. And, you know, you can't hide behind the lines. You know, you can't buy yourself championships. Well, in professional sports, maybe it helps you to get the best players, no doubt. What I'm saying is you can't hide between the lines, okay? That's what's so cool about sports, If you're the best, you're willing to work hard, it's amazing what can happen. So get out there and work, man. Take it, okay? We're still the greatest country in the world. Don't listen to all the dream busters. There's a lot of dream busters. I'm not fast enough. I'm not big enough. Dave Stewart, I'm looking at him. He's probably 5'11", probably under 6 foot. Most of them Yankees won't take you if you're under 6'4". They would have missed out on Dave Stewart, right? So there's always a reason but don't listen to those people, man. You've got to believe. And if you're a Christian, you believe in Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, which also means I can handle all things. So as a man thinks, so he is. Proverbs 23:7. I'll quit preaching.
Amen.
What I hate to see in life is people that get discouraged because when we went to Barb, they said, hey, you can't win baseball at Barb. It's a football school, football state. Nobody cares about baseball. It's all true. It's half-truths. But why can't we be good in baseball and football?
Coach Shane gonna back you up on that. Shane, you was nodding your head, you was chirping at it. What you want to say about that?
Well, for me, just listening in to both coaches, Coach Tully coached against me, playing in New Iberia. Coach Caccini the same. I played against Tim in high school basketball. I say that to say this, being coachable and being respectful and doing things the right way is not only preparing you on the court, on the field, on the track, or wherever you may be, but it's also preparing you for life. Coach Tully touched on that. And if I was a bad person and was disrespectful when it came to the game, then I probably couldn't shake Coach Tully's hand today. Coach Caccini, Tim, and myself probably wouldn't be sitting here catching up a little bit on Northside and LSU. I would say the memories here at Northside Gym, I think the last time I was in here, we had to get escorted out because we came in and got the win from New Iberia, and it was tough to get out of this gym. But believe it or not, ladies, gents, that coachable piece is key in your life because you can look back and reflect on things that you've learned, and you start finding yourself applying it to your life. I played for Coach Skip Bourbon at LSU, and now that I'm a baseball coach, I'm using some of the terms and the language that he used when I was back in school. If I was a rebel and didn't care to listen, then I'd probably be struggling as a baseball coach right now in my young career. So take heed to some of the things that your coaches and even some of your mentors and the folks that look out for your best interests are giving you, because if you don't, then you're going to miss out on a lot, and it's going to be tough. And we could continue to think in that microwave mindset to where we are now. And just continue to be patient and continue to work, but take heed to the things that you're learning little by little each and every day.
Yeah, I want to get Randy and Shannon involved if I can. Y'all some pretty big guys, right? Y'all did some pretty big things as well. We got a couple of kids in here. They're really nice size at this age, and they're going to face challenges as well. But being the biggest kid isn't going to be enough. What can you guys tell them as you talk about elevating to that next level, back to work ethic, back to discipline, back to being coachable? You could be big, but it's going to take more than that.
Absolutely. I mean, you don't always have to be the biggest. You don't always have to be the best. But being coachable, listening, paying attention to detail when you're being coached. I think that's, some of the most important lessons that you can learn as an athlete in any sport. Because, like I said, and I spoke with some of the young guys yesterday at breakfast, there's always going to be challenges. And there's always going to be naysayers and people telling you what you can and what you cannot do. But what you have to understand is that, dreams without goals are just dreams. And ultimately they lead to disappointment. But on the road to achieving your dreams, you have to apply discipline. And you can't accomplish anything in this world without discipline and consistency, because you can't finish anything without consistency. You can start it, but you can't finish it if you don't remain consistent. And that's in your work habits. That's in everything you do every day. You have to apply that, whether if it's football, if it's basketball or baseball. It all requires the same commitment, the same discipline, the same work ethic, the same habits. And you have to put those goals in front of you to where you look at them and you see them every day, whether it's in your locker at school or whether it's on your wall in your room, but you see it every day. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to be. That's what I want to accomplish. So it's a reminder to you every single day that this is where I'm going. This is what I'm going to do. And understand that it ain't going to be easy, because if it was easy, guess what? Everybody would do it. And guess what? Everybody don't do it. Everybody can't do it, because everybody don't apply those things. And if you apply those things, that doesn't guarantee you success, but it damn sure guarantees you the best opportunity for success. And that's all you can ask for, is an opportunity.
Yes, Shannon.
All right, let's get to the real sport here, football. Let's get to football. So, you have to be a leader of yourself, first of all. You have to be a leader of self. And what I mean by that is that, everybody going hang out to the dance, going to the Renee Rose parties, eating bad food, not obeying your parents, your teachers, not being focused in class. You have to be a leader of self. And when you become that vessel of an example in a community or on a sports team, hey, everybody gonna wanna follow. So being big, that's minor, but being a leader of self and being an example for others. And then that's how you become part of a winning culture, because everybody wanna be similar. Oh man, what's Shannon doing? What's Shannon at? Where Clavel's today? Hey, I'm on the dirt road, pushing a Volkswagen. My daddy was a Volkswagen mechanic. I'm lifting slot buckets, going feed the hogs. I'm doing things that, it might not look like I'm working out, but on that land, I'm working out every day. And coming from Generat, living by the bayou, man, like it ain't really much to do. So collectively, like myself, like my homeboy, Ricky Drexler, hey, we go to the park and we push each other. We be outside. We are outside every day. So we're not waiting on nobody to come tell us what to do, because we didn't have the opportunity to get to the Nike camps, to the Adidas camps. If we went to the camps, oh man, we'll be further along than what we are today. But I'm pretty sure most of us didn't get a chance to go to camp like Mr. Stewart or Mr. Marshall, Mr. White, Mr. Johnny Hector, one of the greatest running backs of all time. But we didn't have those resources. But guess what we did? We went to the park and rec, what Mr. Walter Guillory always pushes every year. We go to park and rec. It's free. And we lean on each other. So that culture starts early. It starts early, but you have to be a leader of yourself and be willing to be a vessel and to shine your light in front of all your teammates and to love them, man. You got to love your teammates. Like Coach said, man, you got to cheer your teammates on. And you got to stay ready, because you never know when your opportunity is next. And if you're not ready, then you're going to miss that opportunity. Then you going home, you mad, you telling your parents, oh man, mama, daddy, man, he ain't never played me today. You wasn't ready. So stay ready, be a leader of self, and love your teammates. And the most important thing, just keep God first and understand that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. You could do anything you want, and nothing impossible with God.
Shannon, give me a little bit more. I don't want to miss out on this opportunity. Generat, Louisiana. Go to the University of Colorado to play football. Kansas City, Green Bay Packers, a Super Bowl champion. This last collegiate football season, you're coaching and working on a staff that is probably garnering the greatest national attention in the history of college football, with Colorado and Deion Sanders. What still makes you come back and do things like this, the little things in the community?
The kids. They the future. It's all about them. We are here to love on you guys today, to give you love, to love on you. So the culture that that's been established in us and that we have experienced through our experiences, we're just sharing it with you collectively today. So we come to love on you guys and give you an assurance, not no hope. Like, this is real. Like, we are alive and you can touch us. It ain't nothing you see on IG, nothing on Facebook. This is real right here. So you have to understand that you got to put the work in. You got to obey your parents. It starts at home. And then you go to school, your bus driver, then your teacher, then the council. I mean, you be nice and you show respect to each other and your elders. So coaches love to see young men that shows respect to each other, and mostly they so mannerable. And you know, guys, we was born like this in Louisiana. Yes, sir, no, sir. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Man, coaches love that. So just understand that. Take what you get from here, from home, from school, from judge, and just apply it every day to your life with your friends, with your associates, and just be a leader yourself, man. It's a seed that's inside, planted up all of us. So let that seed grow. Don't push it down. Don't feel embarrassed and shame because, you know, they going here, they got a car. Ride your bike. All you gotta do is make your hips stronger, your calves stronger, your knees stronger. That's all they're gonna do, make your back stronger. So now you're gonna have the endurance to go accomplish the physical task, the mental task, and you're gonna be successful, man. But this is real. This ain't no IG.
Yeah.
Could I,
Julie, yeah, please
if
go.
you don't mind, I'd like to follow up with Randy and what Shannon said. I had something on my wall that said, it takes a little more to make a champion. Now, that was Champion Sports Products, but I got it from the coach at Louisiana College who worked with me and let me go in the gym during the summers that I started doing when I was going in the 9th grade, and I started as a 9th grader. But also remember, know your role. And don't just get discouraged just because you're not the starter. And, you know, I told you, I have 2 national championship rings. I started a couple of games my freshman year. My senior year in high school, I was the best player in women's basketball in 4A. Best player. I went to Louisiana Tech. I played behind. I was a 6th person. There was a girl named Jennifer White who came from Tennessee. But we were 40-5. We went to the Final Four. I knew my role. My role was come in and produce. Be ready when your number is called. I got to start 2 games because of things that happened, but then she came, and I'm so happy she came. Kim Mulkey came from Hammond, Louisiana, 4 state championships. She came, and guess what position I played? Point guard. So that meant we had Jennifer White, and we had Kim Mulkey. But Julie Wilkerson, they said, oh, you could transfer to 94% of the colleges in the United States. You could go right down the road to somewhere else. Up the road. I'm not going to say down the road because I don't know that I could start at USL. But Northwestern was right there, and I love the program. We have fine programs in Louisiana. But I loved Louisiana Tech. Education, I was getting a great education. And it's what they said. I loved my teammates. And I said, I can't transfer now. Let me figure out my role here. How can I make my teammates better? How can I be part of this program? How can I give 110% each day that I go to practice? We had a thing, God plus family plus education plus basketball equals success. In that order, God plus family. Your family is so important. We were just talking about his boys didn't get to be Major League professional baseball players when mom and dad or grandparents or the whole family wasn't participating. But God plus family plus education. Get your education. They can't take your education away from you. And then basketball. God plus family plus education plus basketball equals success. Basketball was so important to me. Your sport is so important to you. Whatever it is. It may be cheerleading. It may be dance line. But the other thing is know your role and push. Be the best that you can be, because I was pushing. I teased my teammate our senior year. The girl I guarded in practice every day, and she was a 3 player. Y'all know, and with 1, 2, and 3. I was tall enough to be a 3. I couldn't do that today because players are taller. She won the Defensive Player of the Year our senior year. You know what I told her? It's because you had to guard me in practice every day. But what did I do? I was part of 2 national championships, and people say, how did y'all do that? Because we worked together, and we liked each other, we loved each other, and we pushed each other. And doesn't mean, sometimes they throw the ball out there and say, somebody get it. Boy, you weren't thinking that we weren't all trying to get that ball. Know your role. Keep pushing hard, and it's going to be tough, but that's when that comes in too. don't forget, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I had that one up there too, because it was hard times sometimes. You come as the best player in the state as 4A, and then your playing time starts getting limited, and you're coming off the bench, and then you're getting limited a little more. But you focus on, I'm giving 110%, and I'm becoming the best player, basketball player for me as I can be. So,
Danny, I see you was shaking your head the whole time she was talking. Everybody's not gonna be the MVP. Somebody's gonna be the most improved, somebody's gonna be the hardest worker. There's roles to play. But I noticed you were shaking your head as she was speaking. What can you tell these young people to make sure that they realize, even if you're not a number one, doesn't mean you're not important?
No, absolutely. And one, I've been paying attention to the people in the stands, and it's hard to stay locked in and committed. We talk about commitment. All of your eyeballs have been on us the whole time, and that's a true testament to you and your commitment to us. And I want to thank y'all first and foremost for that. We pay attention in pro game to the little things, and the little things are everything. I started out, I was known as a baseball player, but my first true passion was football. And when I started at Sacred Heart of Ville Platte in a small 1A school, I was one of those players. My job was to make the varsity better. And my greatest accomplishment my freshman year was getting at the awards banquet, hardest worker. Some people might not look at that as much. That was everything to me because my hard work was recognized. It's not always about getting recognition for your work, as long as your heart is acknowledging yourself. I think that's everything. And one thing I wanted to touch on that I came here to give as a gift, with all the accomplishments we have here and the accomplishments that you guys have, there's leadership that's involved. You become leaders through success. Even the lower level, the lesser guy can be a leader. The janitor in this school is probably a leader in some point. And leadership comes with a price. It comes with a challenge. And one of the failures I had as a leader, because I was a catcher, so I had to manage pitching staffs and I had to lead those guys, is sometimes I always made them meet me where I was. And that doesn't always work. You may be in the football team and you have a guy that you're having struggles with because he's dragging his tail and he's not playing at the level that he can play, and you jump down his throat. Well, that may not work for him. I guess my advice in leadership would be is to meet people where they are. And that can not only be in sports, that could be in any work, any day in life. It might be your brother, it might be your sister, your mom, your dad. Find out where they are that day, find out where they are that week, that month, and relate to that where they are as a person. Great leaders care, and they care about their people. And I think that if you can take a step back when you're trying to lead and meet them where they are, you're going to find a lot of growth. One little story, I was very blessed. I don't know if any of you know who Greg Maddux is. He's a Hall of Fame pitcher. He's passed some of you time, but he was unbelievable. One of the smartest baseball players I've ever played with. And I was his personal catcher. He liked to take the backup catchers. I was a backup catcher for my career mostly. And I'd caddy him. Basically, I'd carry his glove. Not really, but that was kind of my role. So I wanted to impress him, and I wanted to show him that I deserved to be his catcher. So I'd study my butt off, and I'd understand all the hitters. And we get in the dugout one day in L.A., Dodgers, not Angels. And I'm getting on him. I'm like, Mad Dog, we can get this guy this way. And he put his hand on my knee and he said, Danny, there's more than one way to skin a rabbit. It resonated because my way, while I thought, and I believed in it because I had put my hard work in, and I'm being a leader by trying to lead my pitcher, I took a step back and I realized there was more than one way to skin a rabbit. There's more than one way to connect with somebody to get the best out of them. Yeah. And that was my takeaway from that experience. And even when I came back into the real world from a professional athlete into civilianhood, I guess you would call it, because we do live in a different world. I had to learn how to reconnect, and it was a learning experience. Wash talks about your struggles and your failures, and I failed early. I really did, but I learned from it, and I've grown, and meet people where they are.
Before we go to Dusty, I want to just finish this up before we go to questions on pathways. So Johnny, I want you to help me with this one, and then Dr. Chasson is going to close out the initial piece. But 10 years in the NFL, the New York Jets, but a lot of people don't know you was able to jump in the air further than anybody in the state of Louisiana, having a long jump record that still stands today. Now, tell them about pathways. Where they are today may be something different 5 years from now.
Pathways? Maybe I'm not understanding your question.
As far as opportunities, don't close any doors, don't lock into a single thing, make sure that you remain open to other opportunities.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
I was like, I forget who it was that just mentioned that they played everything growing up. Well, I was that kid also. Whether it's football, basketball, baseball, hopscotch, whatever it was, we were doing it. We were competing in my neighborhood. In fact, the crazy thing about the long jump deal, I actually went off the wrong foot.
That's the first I heard that. So you mean it could have been further?
Yeah. Well, no. That's how I realized that. Okay. Well, I got my stronger leg now. You know what I'm saying? Because my steps were off. You foul, whatever. It's like I didn't. So I just jumped off the opposite foot. Next thing I know, it's like, oh wow. Okay, I'm going farther now. But no, it's a process. I was talking to. I'm the only one still around from my family, and I have not the only one. I have a brother that's 3 years older than I am. And about five years ago, I guess we were talking, had some of my nephews around, whatever, and it was like, yeah, man, when we were young, we should sneak off and leave Johnny behind. So I went and slowly walked over to him. I put my arm around him. I say, man, I'm so glad you brought that up. I'm so glad y'all left me behind. Because anyway, that's a whole nother story. But once again, it goes to choices, I guess, for young folks. I was always kind of mindful of, let me just back up. Just listening to the panel and everybody and all the words that everybody is saying, that's just another playbook, but this is a playbook for life that we're trying to give to you guys. You may have a football, basketball, you got your playbooks for this, but what we're trying to instill in you is success in life, because that's the most important thing. Like I've heard also, not everybody's gonna make it in professional sports, but at least give yourself a chance. You never know where it's gonna end up, but at least give yourself a chance. And that's pretty much what I did because I had a lot of obstacles. Growing up, and I'm not going to get into that, but I basically stayed the course. The people I hung around with, if they were into the foolishness, nope, it's not happening. I went the other way. I had one friend who, God rest his soul, just passed away a couple months ago, and we were boys till the end, but all we had was silliness. We were just silly. My oldest nephew, used to say, man, I wonder what them boys laughing at, but we can make fun about everything and stuff. We're just laughing, having fun. Never got into the drugs, never got into the wild scene of all that stuff. It was always sports and trying to prepare for life, just that opportunity. And I got it with going to A&M and then being drafted. All I wanted was a chance. And I got that chance because I was able to be disciplined enough to stay in school, make the grades, and not get into any trouble.
Timmy,
Can I
before
get
we
10
go to
seconds?
Dusty, hold on 1 second, Hollis. No, you can't have no time. I'm coming back to you though. 1 second, because I know we got to get Dusty on. But Timmy, we done heard from every coach and athlete on this panel. You were an exceptional high school athlete as well. Shane talked about your battles. But you didn't go to college or to the pros as an athlete, but you took care of those academics, became a doctor of pharmacy, and now an elected official in a community. Again, I just want them to hear sports isn't a end all.
Correct.
If you don't get to that next level.
Absolutely.
Fix it up for me.
Absolutely. So if I go grab my yearbook on the top of my refrigerator for my senior year, it says, what are your college plans? And my college plans that I told them at the time was, I'm not going to college, I'm going to play professional baseball. It's exactly what it says. And I never got to play professional baseball, and that's okay. Fairly good athlete, getting to play here. Didn't play my freshman year, my sophomore year for basketball, but working hard. Get into my junior year, getting some playing time, and I'm getting coaches to come in the gym. So I got my teammates asking, well, he's not playing as much as we've been playing, but it helps when you have a 4.0 GPA. You have a 30 on the ACT. They don't have to worry about me. So you have to take care of your grades, guys. You have to take care of the grade portion. And then getting blessed at that point to, I was able to go to the New York Mets training camp thanks to a very kind gentleman from our area named Kevin Morgan. And I get a chance to experience my lifelong dreams of putting on a New York Mets jersey. And I'm getting to take batting practice with Ricky Henderson, who talks in the third person. It was the most amazing thing I'd ever witnessed. You know, because if you want to be as good as Ricky Henderson, you know, you got to, well, you mean you? No, he refers to himself in the third person. I thought it was the most amazing thing in the world. And then when it doesn't work out the way that I truly hoped it would work out, my mama told me, which was back at the age of 7 years old, when I'm witnessing her reading some envelopes, and the envelopes are bills you learn later. I'm like, well, Mom, how can I help? And my mom says, well, look, just get all A's. And that's like paying a water bill. It's like paying an electric bill. So all I did was make A's, guys. I wanted to make my mama proud. That's all that mattered. And then Kanye West has a song, guys, that he says, my mama told me, go to school, get your doctorate, something to fall back on you could profit with, but still would have loved me if I did the opposite. So at that point, I'm gonna go get my doctorate. I'm gonna have a doctor in front of my name to make my mama proud, to make my mama happy, to help with the bills, to do whatever I can, whatever crawfish she wants to buy, whatever snow crab she want to eat. I want my mama to be happy. So not everybody will be the professional athlete, but still aspire towards that. And if it doesn't happen, take that and manifest that into a career. Find something that you love to do. If somebody, I told Cherie and Coach yesterday, if somebody will let me coach their girls' basketball team, I'd quit everything right now. State representative, school board, construction company, licensed real estate agent, I would quit it all because that's not work. I love that. I love it. So what you do, guys, is you find something you love to do, call it work, so you never go to work a day in your life. They got a lot of people wake up in this world that don't want to go to work, and they go to work. So you take that, you do your best, you try your best, make the most you can out of your life, and all I'm asking y'all to do is just listen to the people, Coach Gold, Coach Carter, those all-district, all-state players. They've done it, y'all. They've done it. They know what to do. They won't steer you wrong. Follow this technique. Do this. Coach Washington, every coach, Coach Tully. I got to play baseball against Coach Tully. Lafayette High was always so amazing. Like, man, what are they doing over there? Till I get a chance to coach a kid that is able to, that is the right mold to where I get to train him, and we make him a PlayStation All-American and a Parade All-American. So our dreams, guys, for y'all are our dreams for ourselves, and we're not living through you. We just want your dreams to become reality. So listen to them, because in turn, like I was able to take my daughter and the basketball knowledge I knew, I was able to take her and turn her into an all-district, all-state player. And she got a chance to play for the #1 team in the nation, University of Connecticut, and go to the Final Four. So I'm gonna do the same thing with my 14-year-old son. Same thing I tell Coach Gobe all the time. My son will be a first-round Major League draft pick because we know what to do, but if he wants it, then I want it for him. So just try your best, guys, and if it doesn't work out, you can still have the most amazing life, because my life now is dedicated to y'all, and y'all know that. Yeah. That's why my name stay up there. I'm gonna pay that money. I want y'all to have that money. I wanna be here to make sure that y'all don't get in trouble. When y'all hear me yelling at y'all from far away, that's because I love y'all. Y'all stop driving fast. Put your seatbelt on. Where y'all going right now? What's going on? Where y'all going? Who party that is?
Timmy, you're talking in third person.
Yeah,
You
my
started
apologies.
you started to talk.
Love y'all.
May Brother Ricky rest in peace. Matter of fact, the last time Ricky came to Lafayette, I had the fortune of driving him from the New Orleans airport to here. Yeah, that's it. But one of the most amazing, and as far as I'm concerned, the greatest person to ever play the game of baseball. Let's hear what Dusty has to say.
Yeah, that's okay.
We
I'd
coming
like
back.
to thank
Everybody had a
everybody
chance.
for attending the banquet on Saturday night and for an incredible weekend. And Mr. Walter Guillory, hey man, you've done it again. I know how you feel about the young people, and I know how much time and effort that you put into it. And I just want to personally
All right, Hollis.
No, I was listening to Johnny, and I wanted to tell y'all that no matter how much success I had, no matter how much I won, I never considered myself to be the best. I was always chasing something. And as a high school athlete, I wanted to be the best high jumper, triple jumper, long jumper, and I saw
Hi,
in
this
the
is
paper.
Dusty.
I saw in the paper Johnny Hector, and for 3
Hi, this is
years.
Dusty.
Hey, Dusty. For 3 years, I chased Johnny Hector. He was the guy I wanted to be, the guy I wanted to beat, and I had never met him. And it's so incredible to have him sitting here because he's one of my heroes. And so my encouragement to you is don't get the big head. Continue to chase. Continue to chase. Find people. When you find yourself at the top of that ladder, you need to create something else to chase. But don't ever think you're better than you are. The Bible says don't think more highly of yourself than you are, but continue to chase. But I'm honored to be here with Johnny Hector.
Hi, this is Dusty Baker at home in Sacramento, California. And first, I'd like to thank Mr. Rollins, the principal of Northside High School, and his staff for allowing us to use his school. And right now, I'm gonna speak to the students because not long ago, I was in your same boat. Well, I guess a long time ago, I was a student. But I'm just encouraging you to work things out, talk about it, rather than resorting to violence, because it's so easy to do. I mean, I was young, like I said, your age at one time, and man, I thought that I was the toughest guy around, and it proved to be the adverse for me and the worst thing for me. And stay out of trouble the best you can. I mean, nobody stays out of trouble all the time, but just don't cross that line too much. I mean, I know it's fun over there, but try to stay as close to that line that your parents and your ministers or your teachers, taught you. And I like to emphasize the importance of being a good person, being a good student, because these choices affect your family and they affect others. And you'll be surprised, how many people are out there actually rooting for you. So not to say there's pressure on you, not to disappoint them, but you want to be a success in life. And I just want to say good luck to you. Have a good time, but just remember the consequences are far greater than the time that you're having now. Love you, and Happy New Year.
All right, thank you so much. Yes. So we have a little time left in this particular segment. We're going to now open up the floor to questions from the audience. You could direct the question to a panelist, or you could direct it to multiple. If you have a question, a comment, something you'd like to know, there's also a mic on the other side as well. So anyone, a question, need to recap something that you heard or that has been said. Whenever we speak, we always tell people the only dumb, the only ignorant, the only question that doesn't make sense is the one that you don't ask. So certainly feel free.
I know Latavia has one, don't you? You've got a sophomore who's quite amazing, right, Sherry? We visited yesterday.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Latavian Williams. I attend here, Northside High School. I'm a sophomore here. This is a question for anyone on the panel. I would like to ask, what was the challenges you had in your career?
Challenges you may have had in your career. Maybe I'll fix it up even more. Like what were some of the shortfalls? What were some of the issues you had to avoid to make sure you stayed on track?
Well, I know for me, the challenges that, making that transition from college to professional was understanding that everyone was an All-American or a star where they came from when they became professional athletes. So the adjustment that I had to make, which early on in my career I didn't make so well, is to understand that, playing time and opportunity is earned, it's not given to you. You just don't get it because you were the 8th pick in the draft. You still have to go in there and prove yourself. You still have to go in there and work. You still have to apply yourself every day to be better. So for me, the challenges was understanding that, adjusting, and like I heard one of the panelists says, not about getting ready, it's about staying ready. Always be ready for when your number is called. Because when that number is called and you're not ready, well, then all you've done is push yourself further down that totem pole for is getting that opportunity to come back again. So that would be the advice I would give to all you young people, man, is always stay ready, because you never know when that number is going to be called. You never know when they're going to say, hey, it's time for you. And are you going to be ready when your number is called? So like I said, stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Anybody else? Yes, sir. Coach?
My name is Jacardi Carter. I'm the head football coach here at Northside High School. My question is really to the whole panel, but especially to Dave Stewart, because you said when you got out of high school, you had offers in football, basketball, but not necessarily in baseball, but you're a 3-time world champion in baseball. So when did it click for you? And that can go for everybody, because everybody, all the kids, they want to be D1 athletes. But at what point does it click? Like, I can really do this. At what point did it click for you? Like, it can really happen for me.
In baseball, when did it really click? It's tough to say because when I was first drafted by the Dodgers, I was drafted as a catcher and transitioned to a pitcher. The first 2 years, I didn't win any baseball games. I was 0 for 2 seasons. When I came into the 1977 season, they kept bringing me to what they called instructional league, which was for prospects. I didn't know how I was a prospect. And there's many times I thought, I'm gonna leave baseball behind and go back to college and play football. But after the 1976 instructional league season, and then I went to Mexico to pitch in Mexico, which was a disaster, literally. And Ronnie will tell you, because I couldn't hit this gym. This is how wild I was back in those days. I threw hard. I can throw some holes through this gym, but I couldn't hit the gym. And so I finished the 76 instructional league, sent me to Mexico. And it was shaky, but I was able to take some stuff from that. And then we started spring training of 77 was even more progression. And I felt like I was getting better. And then the season came, and by season's end, I was 18-4. And so I was confident and felt like I could play the game now. I knew what I was doing, but then I started the season in 78 in AA, And I started that season at 12-0, and then I got called up to the big leagues. And so when I got called up, it kind of, that was the stamp for me that said, even though I was having this success, it's always in the back of your mind when you haven't had any success, and it turns to success. It's always in the back of your mind, when is this going to go back the other way? And so the consecutive seasons and then getting called to the big leagues, I knew I was going to be a big leaguer and that I was going to be able to succeed in the sport. But my mindset changed totally from once I came to the big leagues, and they did send me back to the minor leagues, but my mindset was totally different when I got to the minor leagues. And I was around people like Ron, and I had another good friend named Jeffrey Leonard. We called him Hackman. But I also was surrounded by people who were big leaguers. I wasn't hanging out with minor leaguers. I was hanging out with bigger leaguers. I was with Reggie Smith and Davey Lopes and Bert Hooton, and we had Roy Campanella, who was in our camp, and Don Newcomb was in our camp. And so I was soaking these guys up. And when I got sent back to the minor leagues, my mindset became, I don't just want to be a player. I want to be a great player. And I want to be an example. And I want to do what the great players do, because I was surrounded by that, and I was listening to the things that they were saying and trying to put that into the mix of who I was, and eventually put it into the mix of who I was. But my goal was no longer just to be, it went from, I hope I get to the big leagues, to I want to play 5 years in the big leagues, to I want to be baseball. I didn't want to be a player, but I wanted to be the game for one day, because I only got one day. I was a starting pitcher. I got one day, and for one day, I wanted to be baseball. I wanted to represent the sport. I wanted people to say that Dave Stewart is the cat that I'm going to get out. When I go to a game, I'm going to see him play. This is what I'm going to expect. So I wanted to be great. I didn't want to be good any longer. I wanted to be great. I wanted to walk into places and people whisper my name. I wanted to see my name on ESPN. I wanted all the things that greatness did. So in the off season, I had an opportunity to start hanging out with other great athletes, because I wanted to seek what they knew and how they became that way. So Ronnie Lott was on my list, Marcus Allen, Joe Montana. From football, I was around Bruce Smith, Cornelius Bennett, Andre Reed. I was around greatness. And when you surround yourself with it, man, it falls on you. And you can't be anything but that. So my moment was 1978. In June of 78 is when I knew that it changed my whole life. Getting to the big leagues took me from wanting to be just somebody to being the body. That's when it became different for me.
Wow, yeah. Please, Shane.
I'll just add something real quick to that. When you're talking about when did you realize it clicked for you? For me, it started fairly young. Being naive, being from a small town, all of us can attest to when we played sports as a youngster, we were just out there playing and having fun. But when I got to the high school level, probably my junior year in high school, you're playing against the tough competition. You're going to Lake Charles and playing against Barb. You're playing Lafayette High, who's always stacked with pitching, Acadiana, so on and so forth. I probably had a Ken Griffey autographed glove from Walmart that I was playing with. Some of these other kids had the expensive gloves and things of that nature. But when you start to get the respect and from the other coaches and the other players from the opposing teams, when they recognize what you bring to the table, for me, that's when it started to click, to understand that, no, I didn't think about the big leagues at the time, but I thought about being able to play at a high level. LSU was my dream, watching them on TV, winning national championships, things of that nature. So when I'm playing against Coach Tully or Coach Caccini, and he has a team full of All-Americans over there at Barb, and Coach Tully has pitchers that are getting drafted, and I'm holding my own and doing the things that maybe I didn't think about doing at the time. It was just happening naturally. But those coaches are showing me some love and appreciating what my work was. That's when it really started to hit that it could be a reality for me, not only to play at LSU, but also have an opportunity to be a professional.
Getting the respect of your opponent.
Councilman, could I hand this to
Please,
Sherry
yes,
Sam? Because
please.
I don't know if y'all heard Portland Trailblazers, but Sherry's a woman, and she's out scouting for an NBA team. And so you have to have had some challenges being a woman in a male sport in the NBA. So I'm sorry, I've done this twice.
That was a pretty good setup right there. Yeah.
I had a question along.
Some people are shy. I'm kind of shy, and so.
We're going to come to you. You want to respond to
that? Well, before she answers that, I kind of want to ask this question because it's going to lean into that. And first, I want to say thank you to the panel and everybody here for supporting the kids in this community. Thank you. Give them a hand of applause. I'm Mr. Rollins, the principal here at Northside, and I'm not from Louisiana. I'm from Dallas, Texas, and I know that this is very important to what we're doing with these kids. I'm listening to all y'all talk and saying things, and we really appreciate that. But I want y'all to give them some nuggets on, because I'm always telling them things get greater later. And today's youth and these kids now, they're not strong like, I don't want to say they're not strong like we were, but they weren't raised like we were raised. So when they have pitfalls and downfalls, I see a lot of them don't know how to get up when you fall. So I would like for y'all to give them some, because there's a lot of negative to where they have social media that creates negatives for them. There's so many opportunities for negative things to happen and them to see negative things in their lives. So they don't know how to recover. They don't understand how to recover, and we always create ways to get them out of that. Let's put them on this plan, this plan. Give them some nuggets on how to, within instilling themselves, to find something to be able to say, hey, things will get greater later, because they don't have that. It's tough on them right now to be able to get up when they're falling. So I would like for y'all to give them some nuggets on that, and I think she just asked you a question that'll touch on some of that. Thank you.
That's a great question. I'm trying to reflect and think of things, but I'm gonna yield on that question because I want Mr. Ryan Washington to answer that question, because I learned some of his story last night, and it's an amazing story that you have to hear about challenges and adversity and picking yourself up. But as far as me, there are very few women in my position in the NBA, but I think for me it's always been a belief in myself. Setting goals as a young person, always wanting to be better, to be the best me. And I was very fortunate to have this opportunity with the leaders in the Portland Trailblazers organization to give me that opportunity. But women, you guys are young men, so keep this in mind whenever you see women athletes. Like, it was always a struggle to get respect for women playing sports. And I think for me, being embraced by guys and by the men, even the WNBA now, once, the LeBron James and Chris Pauls and those guys really embraced us and showed us respect, we started to get it from others. So you being athletes, just always respect the young ladies and respect their craft and embrace them. And once you do that, shine your light on them, then others will also recognize it. But I want to yield that question about challenges to Mr. Washington.
Thank you, Sherry. Anyway, the best nugget that I can throw at you when things don't go the way you want it to go is, I was fortunate as a young athlete at your age that I never worried about not getting something done. To be honest with you, when I was 15, 16 years old and something didn't go right, I looked at it as an education. Because even though it didn't go right and it was failure, at the moment it was failure, it really was, I'm still in it. I still got a chance. And as long as you got a chance, your mindset always have to be, I just got educated. And if you say, I just got educated, then you will be better at whatever else that comes forward that is considered adversity. And in life, we all deal with adversity. As a youngster, even as an adult, the difference is you have to just figure out a way how to either go through it, go around it, or go over it. And that's a true statement. You either go through it you go over it, or you go around it. But it is not failure. As a football player, you're a lineman, you miss a block, and it causes the running back not to get that yard. Well, you know what you did. And when you honestly live up to that fact right there, that it was your block that caused that, you know what you should have did. That play will get called again. And guess what? Don't miss the block. So you're getting educated. And that's the way I looked at it. As a 16-year-old, or as a 15-year-old, failure wasn't a part of my vocabulary. Being frustrated was never a part of my vocabulary. Because when you get frustrated, you have blinders on. And the things that are causing the frustration, you don't see because you're so focused on one thing. And you got to be open-minded at all times. But you have to take the credit for what went wrong for you to get past it. If you try not to take the credit for what went wrong, you'll never get past it. And that's what I live by. And that's what I tell my players to live by. Every time something don't go right, we just got educated. And that's the way you look at it. And you know what that does? That free your mind to move forward. Because that, what you feel was a failure, it will happen again. And this time, you'll see it way down the road when it try to sneak up on you. So when it arrives, you just can slap it because I planned for it. And that's what it's about.
Yes, indeed. Go ahead, Dan.
Just real quick, and I guess this is a funny way to say what Ron just said, but what he said is true. You know, my brother is 5 years older than me. My brother Gregory is 5 years older than me. And it seemed like Tuesdays and Fridays, and we would have a knockout dragouts. We had to sleep in the same room. He would put dirty socks underneath my pillow. I'd be pissed off about that. Shoot, I'd catch him wearing something of mine. I couldn't do anything about it, so we have knockout dragouts. And he would be beating my tail. So every time I get my butt whipped, you know, he'd be sitting there mad, I'm snot-nosed and crying, and shoot, my mother come in and my dad come in, will serve you right. So every time I got my butt whipped, I'd have that period of time, because I didn't want to go eat dinner with the rest of them, because he's sitting at the table. I didn't want to go eat with the rest of them. I'd just sit in my room, and I'm sitting there, I'm snot-nosing, and I'm sitting there thinking about everything that he did to me. So now, come Friday, some of the stuff that he had done, it had happened, it was in my mind, I saw it, and I got better. This happened, man, and my brother was 22 when he left the house. I was 17. His last day in the house, he decided he wanted to pick a fight. Wrong time, bro. Now I got 5 years of butt whippings, and I put it all together. We got into that fight. There was nothing he did that I knew wasn't coming, that I couldn't protect myself from. By the time he had finished that fight, he was hollering at 22 years old, "Mama, Mama, come get him off of me, Mama." So, like Ron said, man, when these things are happening, you can't just shut it down and it happened and walk away from it and don't remember it. You have to take those times and remember it, because in football, it could happen your very next game. And now you're one step better. It's a process. It ain't gonna all come at once, because for me, through 5 years, my brother was teaching me lessons on not just how to beat his butt, but how to survive in life, because I was starting to now recall things and see things that were happening. And instead of doing what a lot of times that we would do because we're carefree kids, we just do it and we walk away from it. I was remembering it. And I'm telling you what, there was nobody more surprised than he was at 22 years old that he could no longer beat up his brother. But it was because of things that he taught me. And I had, like I said, man, shoot, some of it was to me just downright embarrassing. And so when you recall all of the feelings that come from I looked at them as failures, but as Ronnie said, they're learning experiences. When I looked at all of that, and as I got older, and especially as a professional, all this stuff plays, man, because you're 17 and now you're 32, you can't wipe out your past. It happened. Your past is what makes you better. As long as you look at those things, you compartmentalize those things and call them when situations start to arise. When you can do that, you're going to be better. You don't get worse from those experiences. You get better as long as you know what to do with those experiences. And today, I will always thank my brother for those experiences in my life, because I took those moments and I said, I'm going to keep this, because at some point, I'm going to be able to pull something out of my hat. And when I pull it out of my hat, I'm going to be dangerous. It makes you dangerous. Those experiences make you dangerous.
Wow, what a way to end, knowing what to do with your experience. Let's give the panel a hand, y'all. This is gonna conclude us on this segment. It's 12 o'clock. We said we was gonna get back on schedule. It's lunchtime. I'm gonna bring up Mr. Guillory. He has a few announcements. Then we're gonna serve lunch and prepare for the breakout session.
All right, thank you, Kenneth. First of all, I want to thank Kenneth he does such a great job of moderating things, and so we certainly want to thank him for that. What we're going to do is, I'm going to ask Harold from the Lafayette Church of Christ to come up and give the blessings, but I do want to recognize some people, and that is the Lafayette Church of Christ, where our members are here. Y'all stand, because they were here early this morning to help out, and our staff, Miss Ariel that's sitting over there, and Miss Annette, and Miss Tanisha, I remembered her name, yes, from the office. We want to thank them as well. I'm gonna, and just for a few minutes, Earl LeBlanc will come up, and he's gonna talk about a little unique program when we do the breakout session, where some of the kids may be interested in participating. And also, I would be remiss if I wouldn't thank my wife, Rhonda, who's standing and has always supported me when we put on these types of programs. Walsh, I want you to meet a young man that I had a chance to coach last summer. Braylon is sitting up there with his dad, and man, you are something special to him, and he's going to be a special player. So when we have a little time, take a little time with him and talk to him, and you'll see what I mean. Ricky Drexler, Ricky is here. Raise your hand, Rick, who's the regional direct scouting person for the Tampa Rays, and we want to thank him for coming, Rick, and he's always been supportive of the things that we're doing here in Lafayette related to kids. Dr. Kinchin is sitting in the audience as well, and kids, during the breakout session, get a chance if you can talk to Dr. Kinchin about some real wisdom and the things that he had to go through in life and has overcome. And Mr. Rollins, the principal here at Northside, we started planning this some 2 or 3 months ago, and I was meeting with him, and we just want to thank Mr. Rollins for coming out. Rashid and Skip from AOC, this will run on television, guys. So probably start next week. They'll have it a couple of 2 or 3 times where you can watch yourself on television. Our other school board member that showed up, he came from a retreat, Josh Edmond, who has helped me along with this along the way. Josh, we appreciate it. If you get a chance to talk to Josh, please do so. And Fred Burgess and his friend Mr. Dupont that's sitting up here. Fred runs a program, Against the Violence? Stop the Violence in Alexandria. And so he and I talk a lot, and he's here to kind of pick up some things. If you have a chance to talk to Fred, please do so. And all the people that are here, I see Vince. Is Vince still here? Oh, stand up, man. Vince Pierre, former state representative and now in the mayor's office, and Sammy Pierre's here, and Lil Rowe, who's sitting behind him, right next to him. Thanks for all the hard work. And the workforce development people, Garrick, you and your staff, stand up. And they have been tremendous in helping us as well. So if I miss anyone, I'll sit down while we're having lunch. and we'll go over it. I'm going to give Earl a few minutes to come up and talk. And what we'll do is, guys, once we get ready to eat, you'll get your lunch. People sitting at the panel, just stay seated. We'll bring it to you, okay?
I'm going to ask for a second here.
I can't tell Doc no, y'all.
You know, when I came in here, first I have to congratulate Mr. Guillory. And it gives you an example of what can happen when you're respected. Now, nobody else could have assembled all of these legends at one time, in one place, than somebody like Mr. Guillory. So let's give him a hand. Now, when I talked to Mr. Guillory, I wasn't too sure exactly what role he wanted me to play in this particular event. So I came in and I saw all of these names and I didn't see my name. So I said, wow, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do here, but I remembered this is my aphorism, this is my truism. The further away from the light you walk, the larger your shadow grows. So my shadow, I feel, is great. So what I wanted to say was that they all brought back some kind of memory. And you want to know about you can do all things through God who strengthens you. You get the feeling of religion, of spirituality from all of these people. Now, this coming up here is a quality that you have to have if you're going to be great. You have to have assertiveness. You have to move forward. So you have to know that the way you carry yourself, the better you feel, the better you perform. Now, my self-esteem, self-worth is very important. So when I didn't see my name, I had to say, well, this is my house. Then I had to remember, no, this is not my house. This is Mrs. Shaw's house. So let's give Mrs. Shaw's house another. The other thing, I'm doing this really because I have to go to a funeral, so I apologize for kind of stepping in and disrupting the program. But I have memories from all of these people. I see Johnny Hector, you talk about a legend. That guy was a legend. But you see where he is today? Because he had discipline, he had preparation, he had goals, he had dreams. You see, Mr. Stewart, he didn't want to just play for the team, he wants to own the team. You have to aim high. So that is very important, to aim high. And there is Dr. Schweitzer would always say, there's nothing that's accomplished in this world without enthusiasm and self-sacrifice. You got to put in the work, you got to put in the effort, you got to dream big. You got to want to be the best that you can be. And all of these people wanted to be the best that they could be. So all of them have some goals. And Sherry here, she might not know it, but she's my godchild. Now, her father could have been in the NBA. That's her genes. Her father was B.B. Sam, but you know what the problem was? B.B. would only show up during the time of basketball season. After that, you wouldn't find him in his classrooms. So it's important to go to your class, develop your brain, make sure you use your brain. That is where your real genius lies. That is where you will continue to have dominance if you use it. Your legs might be gone, your arms might be gone. You might not be able to continue in the big leagues, in the professional states, but your brain is always there that you can use to make a difference. So remember Johnny Hector, there was another guy named Cecil the Diesel, who was he might have been the greatest running back of all times. But you know what happened to him? Because of bad decision making, train yourself to make good decisions. Train yourself to have discipline. Train yourself to resist temptation. Each temptation is sin, and each victory will help you some other to win. Cecil Collins ended up in jail. Bad decision making. Be like Johnny Hector. Be somebody who wants to help to lift all of you. It's our responsibility as people who have succeeded to continue to lift as we climb. And we must continue to climb. With that, I have to go to a funeral in Liberia. Appreciate your efforts and your time, but I'm going to leave you something tangible. I'm going to leave you this success right here. At my very best. If you're always at your very best, you can sleep at night. You don't have to worry about not having done all that you could to make a difference. And you have to always remember that without with LeBron James could never win a championship without the teammates. This is a team effort. What you do not want done to you, do not do to others. Continue to lift. Rejoice in the success of others. My fuel, excellence is the fuel by which my engine runs. So I'm going to run on that excellence. Thank you for being here and enjoy the day.
Thank you, Doc. Okay, thank you so much. Sandy left, right? She did. Doc, is Sandy that didn't put your name up? Sandy, yeah, yeah. Thank you. Earl.
His name is up. Oh,
Oh, okay.
You're here?
All right, gotcha. So Earl is gonna come up just for a minute, because Earl, people are hungry, so a minute, and he'll talk about, and then Walsh, this other kid sitting right up front, Carter, right here, he's another one. He's gonna be something special as well, so if you get a moment to talk to him as well. And one other thing, my cousin from Lowerville, Cecile Mitchell, who helped us to get kids from the Lowerville area, we want to thank her. With that, after Earl finishes, get in line for lunch, panel, take a break, and they'll bring you to lunch at your seat.
Thank you all. That is the hardest thing I have to do right now is block everyone from lunch, so this is going to be quick. My name is Earl LeBlanc. I'm the Regional Executive Director of Athletes for Christ Outreach. We're a Christian youth ministry. We provide sporting events, counsel, team building, and just helping people to be better through athletics, but not only losing sight of the Word of God. And our foundational scripture is in 1 Corinthians 9, 24, 25. It says, "Do you not know that in a race all runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize. Everyone who competes in the games goes into strict training. They do it to get the crown that will not last, but we do it to get the crown that will last forever." And that's a relationship with Jesus Christ, a relationship with God. And as we heard and said, we could do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthened us. So just real quickly, in panel, I am in awe. Every story here touched me because you did what I couldn't do. I was the Rudy of football. I went to St. Augustine High, got an opportunity to come to USL, didn't make it, wound up playing semi-pro ball, and then by great chance, I got a tryout with the Oakland Raiders back in 1979, and made it through 2 weeks of spring training. Nope, you're not good enough, got to go home. Next year, they called me and said, "Hey, we want you to come back for spring training." All pumped up. Made it all the way, remember back then it had 6-week preseasons. Made it all the way to the final preseason game with my playbook in my dorm, and I called my mom. "Mom, I'm gonna make the team." 3 minutes later, knock on the door. "LeBlanc, bring your playbook." That's as close as I got to being where my dream was. But then I realized God gave me gifts. And so one of the things real quickly I want to talk about is we have a program here with the Lafayette Parish School Board and the 100 Black Men Organization. It's called Choices. And you guys have set it up real well for me. So there's Choices as an acronym. And I'm just going to real briefly walk through it. The first is a C. Change your behavior, change your future. Think about what behaviors you're dealing with now as a young person that you know some things in your life you have to change. What about your behavior that will help you to steer where your goals are? Because if our behaviors are causing us to come short of our goals, how are we going to get to where everyone said here that they had to fight, work through to get to where they wanted to be? So a lot of times our behaviors inhibit our goals. The next thing is heal, the H. Heal past hurts and struggles so life has meaning. We've all faced trials. We've all had situations in our life where we wanted to give up. We wanted to quit. We said, it's tough. I'm hurt. I'm holding on to that hurt. For me, at 13 years old, I lost my father. My father was the coach in my ear. He taught me baseball, mostly football, but baseball was his thing. And the one thing he left with me, I kept in high school, I kept a 421 batting average. But the one thing he told me was, find the red stripes. And I'm like, what? Find the red stripes. When that pitcher put that ball in his hand and that arm goes up, all I saw was red and made contact with the red. It locked in my head is find what's most important when you're doing what you're doing right now and focus. As you guys said, focus on that point. But when he died, I lost my voice. I lost that voice in my head. And think about in your life the things that you're hurting from where you're not hearing a voice that you need to hear to be positive, to focus on your goals. You have to find that voice. If that voice is Jesus Christ, you're perfect. But if that voice is a coach or a mentor or someone that's steering your life, listen to the voice. The O, open new paths that lead to happiness and health. If we're walking down the same path day in and day out and we're not getting where we want to be educationally and in what your goals are, look at the next path. That next path may be a little slightly to the side and say, well, wait, I didn't think about this. But start thinking about the path that you're taking to try and get to the goals that you're trying to achieve. You may be going the wrong direction because you're following maybe the wrong people or you're not focusing on the next step. The next one is I, increasing confidence in your decisions and setting achievable goals. Confidence. If you do not have self-confidence, how can you push through, as they said, push through those barriers, push through those obstacles? But the self-control and being able to make those decisions, because we go left, we find ourselves in situations we can't turn back from. Part of the Choices program is we do it with the juvenile courts, the substance abuse courts as well. And 2 years ago, we had 2 kids that were in our program, and we do team building, it's obstacle courses and team building events. But one kid, he was mild-mannered, and I had him walking a tightrope on a cable, and every grab of the rope was what's your next goal? What's your next goal? And he froze. And we said, what's going on? He said, I don't hear that voice. My grandmother used to walk me through every decision I had to make, but she's died, and I have no voice. And so we were mentoring him and coaching him, and then I think about 8 months later, this young man was killed riding with friends, flipped the truck on I-49 and lost his life. He was a very mild-mannered young man, but he was being influenced by people around him that were not as focused as he wanted to be. The C is choose to be successful in all situations. If we walk in a situation with doubt, fear, or I don't think I can, how can you be successful? As the coaches in the panel said, is you have to bust through those obstacles. Obstacles are opportunities to break through your challenges. But if we look at it as a big wall we can't walk through, how are we going to get to that next level? The E, empower yourself to say no to negative influences. How many people here don't have negative influences in your life? We all do. So being able to know, your no means your no. And so if someone's trying to influence you from turning in a direction that you know is not going to lead to your goals, you empower yourself to say, I can't walk with you. We all hear this term nowadays, that's my ride or die. I don't want that die side. But if you're going to ride with me, you're going to help get me or steer me to where my goals are and where my ambition is, my talent, my God-given talent. The S, stop letting excuses limit your God-given gifts and potentials. And I think that's the most important one. The Bible says, God says, I knew you before you were born. I put gifts in you for such a time when they will blossom and bloom. So maybe if you guys are wearing your jerseys and you represent Northside, the gifts that you have will groom once you focus on your goal, your purpose, your mentorship. But sometimes our gifts don't come right away. We have to grow into them. But to know that everyone has an opportunity to grow, you have God-given gifts. You have to tap into purpose. You have to tap into what are you going to do with the gifts that God gave me? Because sometimes we fall short and say, well, I woulda, coulda, shoulda. Well, did you give all your effort? And I'll close with this is what Dr. Kitchen said in right here. I'm sorry. One of the things that Dr. Kitchen comes in our programs, he talks about is at your very best. Look in the mirror one day and find out what is my very best. I can come and show the coaches what they need to see. I can come and be around my friends and say, yeah, I can do this. My grades are good. But when you look in the mirror, are you giving your very best? Because if you give your very best, and you guys can attest, worth victory or defeat, I know I gave it my all. So as you go through and talk about choices in life, think about the choices that you have an opportunity to change, or the choices you have an opportunity to say, hey, I'm on the right track. But make sure it's from your heart, make sure it's from your goals, and not someone just feeding something in your ear because they have a different direction of what you think. And that's, I think, the value of coaches is they see talent, but it's the character that's going to allow the talent to grow where it needs to be. So I forgot Hollis, or one of you guys said, at this generation, I thank God I couldn't grow up in this generation. I'd be a wreck. But you have to walk through your own purpose. You have to walk through your own challenges, but seek counsel, seek advice. Ask people that have been in that route, or ask coaches and people in your life that, how do I get through these challenges? What do you see in me that helps you have confidence in me? Because a lot of times the choices we make, someone else has already made that decision, and now we're following into the consequences. So stay focused. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you guys, panel, for y'all. Y'all don't know how much y'all educated me. But I really think that when we put ourselves in a position to be successful, there's nothing that can stop us. Thank y'all.